burning grounds. Blue guardians down the heart, lights and fury in the sky. Zoids leads the iron pride. Roar of thunder, sound of drum, roar stand steady, battle floor. Blue guardians fight for peace, red muses stir the beast. Warriors of steel decide the fate, on Zoidstar no time to wait. Planet echoes with their wrath. Warriors treading metal path. Shadows dancing neon flash. Laser beams ignite the night. Iron claws in desperate fight. Moonlight breaks the crimson light. Lord defends with courage steel. Zoidstar leaves no chance to kneel. Fury of the heartbeat real. Zoidstar leads the iron line. Roar of thunder, sound of charge. Chorus stand steady, battle for. Well, mutants stir the people beat. The D-Day attack. The command wolf Zoid joins the pack. A Zoid of the medium grade, the gleaming white wolf of steel made. Deployed to fight the Sene boss. The command wolf fielded at Nuss. Sene boss Zoids clash with Helic. Blast black rhinos and break more quick. Command wolf strikes fierce and deadly. Bite, slash and shoot as a medley. Fights and busts and dilos too. See the Helic Republic through. But the command wolf Zoid falls short. The muscle machine needs support. Build a bear fighter for warfare. And the arrow, sir, it's fair. With Sene boss gone, Kylos comes. This new empire strikes is a deadly. Fight, slash and shoot as a medley. Fights and the blasts and dialogues too. See the helicopter flit through. Public through. Cannot quit the race now. The strongest Zoids with a great bow. Revise the command, war for war. The second guy lows, war restore. Command war strikes is a deadly. Fight, slash and shoot as a medley. Fight and advance and die lows too. See the Helic Republic through. Isn't deadly. Fight, slash and shoot as your medley. Fight, then you box and got loads to see the Helic Republic through. Races now. The strongest Zoids with a great power. Revive the command, war for war. The second guy lows, war restore. Command war strikes fierce and deadly. Fight, slash and shoot as your medley. Fight, Zenith boss and guy lows to see the Helic Republic through.